During the meeting, I was secretly slacking off, staring at the chat screen of my online boyfriend and zoning out. Without thinking, I accidentally pressed the voice call button. To my horror, the very next second, my boss's phone started ringing. In the conference room, a colleague was nervously giving a report. The moment the ringtone echoed, he was so startled that his pen slipped from his hand. The CEO glanced down at his phone, expressionless, then calmly pressed a button. "Sorry, go on," he said. I looked down, my outgoing voice call had just been declined. It was a coincidence. Definitely just a coincidence. There was no way that my cold, emotionless CEO could be the same person as my sweet, clingy little puppy of a boyfriend. Relieved, I let out a quiet breath. My colleague had just finished the report and was awaiting Robert's feedback. Robert Bogart rubbed his chin and asked, "Whose idea was this proposal?" "It was our supervisor, Mr. Wei," my colleague replied quickly, trying to curry favor, seeing Robert's expression wasn't too stern. Supervisor Wei smiled smugly. "Yes, I gave them the general direction." Bullshit. It was true that Wei oversaw our department, but I'd only ever seen him show up at our team dinners, and even then, he'd leave without paying his share. This proposal had absolutely nothing to do with him. At best, when we submitted the draft, he told us to change the font from size 4 to 3, claiming it would make the plan look more professional. Well, sure. It did look bolder than his beer belly. Everyone watched as Robert's lips curved into a faint smile. Just when we all thought the proposal had passed, he suddenly tossed the file back in Wei's face. "This is the garbage you came up with? The logic is a mess, citations are off, and I couldn't even grasp the main concept." "Impressive, your direction is really something." Silence fell across the entire meeting room. No one dared breathe. Everyone knew our boss was unpredictable. A smile didn't mean he was pleased, and a frown didn't always mean disapproval. This was the perfect example. That confirmed it for me, it was just a coincidence. My little puppy boyfriend was way cuter than him. President Bogart, I only offered them a general idea. They handled everything else on their own, Wei stammered, glaring at the colleague who had just tried to flatter him. The poor guy looked like he wanted to crawl under the table. "Oh really?" Robert narrowed his eyes, staring at the screen. "Then who did this data analysis?" "It was her." The colleague immediately pointed at me. "Jennifer did it." My blood froze. Unfortunately, that part really was mine. I had no choice but to stand up and admit it. I'd worked on that analysis for half a month, staying up late and digging through mountains of research. And still, it hadn't impressed the CEO? I suddenly missed my sweet online boyfriend. During those days I was collapsing from stress, he was the one cheering me on. "Yes, she did it, sir," Wei quickly changed tone. "That data analysis is the most crucial part of the entire proposal. I actually said from the beginning she shouldn't do it. She's just a girl, how could she possibly handle something so difficult?" "What, you did it yourself?" Robert looked at me, his face devoid of emotion. "I did." "Fine. I poured half a month of effort into it, why shouldn't I stand tall?" "Not bad," he said. "That analysis is the only part of the entire proposal that's actually worth looking at." My eyes widened. "Jennifer Lee, right?" Robert looked at me, a trace of amusement flickering in his light brown eyes. "Transfer to Team 2 and assist them with data analysis. Team 3 doesn't suit you." "Okay. Good." Meeting adjourned. I was still in a daze when I walked out of the conference room. Team 2 was the elite unit led personally by Robert Bogart, currently handling one of the company's biggest projects. Joining that team meant becoming one of the CEO's trusted people. Promotions and raises would no longer be out of reach. Hawk, I was going to be rich. As soon as I got back to my desk, I saw a message from my online boyfriend. "Sorry, baby, I was in a meeting just now and couldn't answer your call. Are you free now? Want a voice chat?" "Didn't you say you had a really important meeting? How did it go? Was it smooth? Do you want milk tea? It's that time of day again when you always crave one. I'll order it for you." Followed by a string of adorable cat stickers. See? A guy this cute could never be Robert Bogart. It had to be a coincidence. Definitely a coincidence. Seeing his messages instantly lifted my mood. It's done. I successfully defeated the big boss. And he's even giving me a raise and promotion. I replied, adding an adorable cat sticker of my own. "Baby, you're amazing. What do you want to eat? Let me treat you. We have to celebrate properly. First things first, a milk tea. Same address as always at Century Garden, right?" At the beginning, I had been afraid he might be a creep, so I only gave him the address of the residential area near my office. "Hold on a bit, I need to pack up first. I'll text you after." "Okay, baby. Get some rest." More cat head stickers followed. Who could resist a guy like this? I set down my phone and began packing up to move to Team 2. Just now, their team lead had come over in person to take me to my new workstation. He was one of Robert's close allies, and rumor had it they were college friends. I wouldn't dare keep him waiting, so after a few polite words, I told him to go ahead and I'd catch up. But just as he left, Supervisor Wei showed up, clearly ready to stir trouble. Humph. I knew it. A girl like you couldn't possibly create a data analysis that would impress the CEO. Turns out you had a man helping you, huh? I rolled my eyes at him. Watch your mouth. Ooh, struck a nerve? You've already been promoted and given a raise. Aren't you going to share your experience with your old colleagues? As he spoke, he actually tried to touch my arm. Disgusted, I jerked away. He stumbled slightly from the momentum, his fat frame wobbling. Supervisor Wei, I'm surprised. It's not just your looks that are disgusting, your personality is too. I sped up my packing. I'd had enough of this team. It wasn't just Wei. The rest of them were indifferent, self-centered, and openly hostile. Someone had already started filming. Jennifer, Wei said with a lecherous grin, think about it, if getting close to Team Lead Lin gives you perks, wouldn't you get the same perks from getting close to me? Why not go for both? I turned my head, and caught him smiling that sickening smile. I couldn't take it anymore. I picked up the cushion next to me and threw it straight at his face. Caught off guard, Supervisor Wei took the hit head-on and froze. You little brat. How dare you throw something at me? The next second, he heaved his overweight body toward me. But I wasn't scared. I just grabbed whatever was within reach and threw it. I even accidentally knocked a coworker's phone out of their hands. My phone. Ah, my cup. In an instant, the entire office descended into chaos. Hey, what the hell are you all doing? Someone shouted. Eventually, it was the Team 2 leader, who had come back looking for me, who brought backup and managed to stop the commotion. I was doomed. Just this morning I'd been promoted by the CEO, and now in the afternoon, I was being dragged into his office for fighting. Along with me were Supervisor Wei and the entire Team 3. Moments ago, everyone had been fuming. But now, no one dared make a sound, except Supervisor Wei. President, he said loudly, it was all Jennifer. That little vixen was trying to seduce Team Lead Tam Lin. Robert frowned but didn't even glance in his direction. Why are you bringing this to me? Team 2's leader stepped forward and gave a quick rundown of what had happened. Handle it according to company policy, Robert said coldly. And don't bother me with trash like this again. Well, that's not, Tam started, sneaking a glance at me. That's enough. Go to your jobs. Tam, you've been looking quite idle lately, haven't you? And not at all. Tam quickly waved at the rest of us to leave with him. Everyone was trying their hardest to become invisible. Wait, Robert suddenly said, looking at me. You stay. Next to me, Supervisor Wei and the others were already snickering. Soon, everyone else had left, leaving just Robert and me alone in the office. I braced myself, thinking he was about to scold me. Instead, he handed me a milk tea. You've had a rough day. I blinked, staring at the expressionless CEO holding a milk tea with a pink wrapper. I wasn't sure what was more surreal, his face, or the drink. Cold-faced boss holding pink milk tea. I took it awkwardly, only to realize, it was the limited edition flavor I had been craving for ages. For me? Why? I asked cautiously. As a reward. For standing up to evil and defending justice. He nodded solemnly, then smiled, a weird, lopsided smile that made me more nervous than comforted. There was no way I could accept that. I quickly set the drink down and bowed my head. I'm sorry, boss. I shouldn't have hit anyone. But that Wei guy was asking for it, it had to be done. Please, be the bigger person and kick me out like the others. When I looked up, Robert's smile had grown even more twisted. It was the kind of smile that looked more like he was in pain than pleased. Great. Now we were just staring at each other. He said nothing, and I didn't dare move. Boss. Just then, Tam Lin opened the door, caught a glimpse of the awkward silence between us, and immediately backed out again. Seeing him leave, Robert sighed and called after him, come in. Tam returned, carefully glancing between the two of us. You can go now, Robert said, and still shoved the milk tea back into my hands. If you need anything, ask Tam. Then he paused and added, or ask me. Got it, master. I shall take my leave, wait, I mean. I bolted out of there so fast I didn't even dare look back at his expression. Only when I reached the hallway did I finally let out a long breath. Was I really that scary? But then I heard Robert's voice from inside, sounding vaguely troubled. What should I do? I really did come off kind of stiff. No wonder she'd be scared off if I tried to pursue her like this. Tam laughed. So, boss is trying to win someone over? I glanced down at the milk tea in my hand. An odd feeling of familiarity crept up on me. No wonder he bought something so not his style. Wait. Why would he buy this for me? An absurd idea began to form in my mind, but I quickly shook it off. No, impossible. The boss was probably just testing me. Maybe he thought I looked like an easy target. Fine. From now on, if he gives me anything, I won't accept it. After all, I already have a boyfriend. Thinking this, I headed happily to my new desk. My things had already been moved, and I greeted my new teammates. They seemed much friendlier than the folks in Team 3. As I unpacked, I messaged my online boyfriend to relay everything that had just happened. You have no idea how disgusting that way guy is. Are you okay, baby? You're not hurt, right? Of course not. I'm brave Jen, remember? One left hook, one right kick, and I had him down. You're not lying to me, are you? Don't scare me like that. I swear I'm totally fine, baby, don't worry. His messages filled me with warmth. Oh, by the way, my boss was acting kinda weird today. I thought he was going to yell at me or fire me, but instead, he handled those troublemakers and even gave me a milk tea. I was too nervous to say no and took it, but now I feel like it wasn't very appropriate. I really shouldn't be accepting things from other men anymore, because I love you the most. This time, it took him 2 whole minutes to reply. Maybe something came up? I shrugged and continued organizing my desk. By the time I was done, it was lunch hour. I figured I'd just grab something downstairs. When I opened my phone again, I saw his reply, I love you the most too. Have you eaten yet? Didn't you say we should celebrate your promotion today? Get something nice, I'll pay. Red packet incoming. Oh, by the way, baby, when are we finally going to meet? I really want to hug you. He even sent a little cat hugging another cat sticker. We'd added each other last year. I was changing jobs and looking to rent a new apartment, so I went online to ask for advice. He was super helpful and shared a ton of tips. We kept chatting and realized we really clicked. That's how it all started. I mean, who could resist a guy who sends adorable cat stickers and sweet talks you to sleep over voice chat? Still, since it was an online thing, I'd been hesitant to meet in person. I always turned him down. He's right. It is time to celebrate. After 2 weeks of surviving on instant noodles, even my stomach had started protesting. Thank you, darling. I've decided, I'm going to splurge today and treat myself to the Western restaurant downstairs. I accepted the red packet he sent but tactfully dodged his request to meet up. To his credit, he didn't push. Great. There's a Western restaurant near me too. I'll have steak tonight as well, just pretend we're having dinner together, baby. He even sent a drooling cartoon sticker. I honestly had no idea where he found all those ridiculously cute ones. Jennifer. Just as I was getting ready to head out, Tam, just back from the CEO's office, called my name. The next second, he handed me a red packet. Welcome to Team 2. A little welcome gift. Let's work well together. I looked at the red packet, assuming everyone who joined Team 2 received one. Without hesitation, I bowed a full 90 degrees. Thank you, Team Lead Lynn. I'll work my fingers to the bone for Team 2. Whoa. No need for that. But surprisingly, Tam seemed even more flustered than I was. He quickly pulled me upright, only to bow to me instead. Thank you for joining Team 2. It's an honor, really. What? How could I let my new boss bow to me? I immediately bent even lower than before. No. It's me who should thank you for taking me in. No. Don't say that. You're clearly very capable. Tam doubled down, bowing even deeper. No, clearly it's... Ahem. Just as my forehead was about to kiss the floor, a cold cough interrupted our ridiculous exchange of mutual flattery. When I stood up, Tam had already straightened himself, and his voice trembled slightly. Boss. That was when I noticed Robert had appeared at some point. His expression was, not great. What are you two doing? Getting married at work? The second he said it, I could almost see a storm cloud descend over his entire face. No. Tam was practically stammering as he rushed over and whispered something to Robert. I saw Robert give him a sideways glance before coldly muttering 2 words, I don't believe it. I heard Tam mutter under his breath, then next time I won't help you get cute stickers from my girlfriend. Wait, Tam has a girlfriend? I wonder what kind of girl she is. She must be fun to hang out with, anyone who puts up with Tam must be. When I looked up again, Tam was already gone, and Robert had stepped in front of me. Let's eat. His voice was low and magnetic, actually kind of nice, now that I wasn't panicking. But since he usually only spoke when delivering shocking news, it was easy to forget how pleasant his voice could be. Okay. Where? Downstairs. Western Place. So, are we eating together? My face was full of question marks, but my legs had already started following him downstairs on their own. Well, I was just promoted. What's one meal with the boss? Worst case, I'll pay. Tam just gave me a red packet anyway. With that mindset, I soon found myself sitting across from Robert at the restaurant. Well done steak, he said, glancing at me calmly. No cilantro in the beef soup. No onions in the sandwich. No cherry tomatoes in the fruit bowl. Why did each sentence sound like a question, but feel like a command? Anything else? He asked. I quickly shook my head. He handed the menu to the waiter and said plainly, add a medium-rare steak and a plate of oysters to that. Medium-rare steak? Isn't that kind of raw? I couldn't help wondering. My online boyfriend always recommended medium-rare filet mignon, saying it was heaven on a plate. But the one time I tried it, it still looked bloody and tasted chewy. Robert seemed to notice my expression. Depends on the cut. Some steaks are still raw at medium rare. But I think filet mignon suits it just fine. He looked up at me. Why the sudden interest? Oh, it's nothing. My boyfriend likes his steak medium rare too. Yep, gotta remind him I'm taken. Just in case he's still using me as a test subject or something. Robert paused, then nodded. Or maybe I imagined it, but I swear I saw him tilt his head and smile just a little. Then came the waiting. Since I was dining with my notoriously temperamental boss, I chose the safest option, scrolling through my phone. Baby, did you get to the restaurant yet? The moment I sent the message, Robert's phone, sitting on the table, vibrated. Okay, don't be mad, but I have something to tell you. Another buzz. My boss suddenly asked me to have dinner with him. Buzz. I wanted to say no, but he just promoted me, so I figured, one dinner wouldn't hurt. Buzz. The repeated buzzing must have gotten to him, because Robert finally picked up the phone and checked it, calmly, as always. Then I got a reply from my boyfriend, I already ordered, baby. You must be eating too, right? Do you really hate your boss that much? I instinctively glanced at Robert, only to find he was looking straight at me. For some reason, I typed back, not really. He's actually, kinda nice. Then, realizing how that might come off, I quickly followed up with a, but I love you the most, sticker. After that, I put my phone down. Robert was still looking at me. Was he mad I'd been staring at my phone the whole time? While I was still overthinking, Robert had already cut up the steak and pushed the plate in front of me. I've sliced it, spread the sauce, and picked out the veggies. Eat up, baby. Wait a minute. What did he just call me? That word had come out of his mouth way too naturally. I stared at him in stunned silence. That odd sense of familiarity surged again, and a ridiculous thought took hold of my brain. He didn't seem to realize what he'd just said. But the second our eyes met, the air turned still and strange. Bet that tramp's in some guy's bed right now. A jarring voice from the doorway shattered the awkward moment. Didn't they say she was team lead Lynn's girlfriend? Pfft. I just saw Lynn's girlfriend pick him up herself, definitely not that Jennifer chick. I didn't even need to turn around to know who it was. And honestly, I couldn't care less. Why waste my time explaining to trash like that when I could enjoy a few more bites of steak? She's just a woman, how could she possibly do data analysis that satisfied the CEO? No doubt she had some man do it for her. Supervisor Wei and a few others barged into the restaurant, laughing and shouting. This place was usually quiet and refined, where the soft clinking of cutlery was the loudest sound you'd hear. Their arrival instantly shattered the peace like a bull charging through a china shop. I glanced up at Robert. His face was calm as ever, but the disgust simmering in his eyes was practically leaking out. That's when I realized, with people like Robert, it's not the face you look at. It's the eyes. Because the eyes never lie. I'm going to the restroom, I said, dabbing my lips with a napkin and standing up. I hadn't walked far when a message popped up from my online boyfriend, you got this, baby. You're amazing. That came out of nowhere. Still, it warmed my heart. I sent back a nodding kitten emoji. Jennifer. Just outside the restroom, I bumped into a former coworker. What a coincidence. You're eating here too. I didn't remember her very well, but if I wasn't mistaken, she was the one whose phone got smashed during the afternoon chaos. Sure enough, the moment she saw me, her eyes rolled so far back they nearly stuck. TCH. What guy are you here with this time? Oh? And what guy are you here with? I glanced around the room, then feigned sudden shock. Supervisor Wei? No way, seriously. She caught my implication instantly and turned bright red. Don't slander me. I'm here with him to talk business. Sure. Whatever you say. I smiled sweetly, just to infuriate her. It worked. She was gritting her teeth. You broke my phone this afternoon. You better pay for it. Did I? I pulled out my phone, scrolled through a few contacts, and dialed one. Her phone, tucked in her pocket, began to ring. Already fixed it. You're welcome. I didn't stick around to hear the rest. I was too focused on getting back to my steak. But before I could return to my seat, Supervisor Wei jumped out and blocked my way. Guess being fat does have its advantages. Well, what a coincidence, Supervisor Wei, I said with a smirk. Having dinner with your girlfriend? Jennifer, how dare you show your face? If it weren't for your little stunt this afternoon, I wouldn't have been punished and sent to the branch office. Congratulations, Mr. Wei, sounds like a promotion to me. I could barely keep a straight face. You're a jinx. Ever since I met you, everything's gone to hell. He shoved his fat hand at my shoulder. I nearly lost my balance. My reflex kicked in, I spun and slapped him across the face. Hard enough that my hand hurt. But man, that felt good. I'd forgotten, though, he wasn't alone. His companion lunged at me. Ah. And just like that, the restaurant turned into a war zone. Ow, be gentle. I winced, looking down at Robert crouched in front of me, carefully applying ice to my ankle. Suddenly, I felt a little guilty. Next time, don't hit so hard. Your hand's all red. I rubbed my nose sheepishly and gave him a small smile. When my ex-coworker tried to tackle me, I dodged. She face-planted. No surprise there. When Supervisor Wei tried to raise a hand to me, Robert arrived just in time and grabbed his wrist. Despite the difference in size, Robert, clearly someone who worked out, shoved him aside like it was nothing. Wei instantly backed down, then pulled out his signature move, blame someone else. It was all her. My coworker went crazy. I had nothing to do with it. But this time, Robert was really angry. He pulled out his phone and called HR on the spot. Everyone involved from Team 3? Fired. And those two clowns? He said he'd be sending them legal notices. Civil suits. Maybe even criminal charges. I, meanwhile, had been watching with way too much amusement. I turned too fast, twisted my ankle, and yep, it was Robert who had to carry me home. Humiliating. Once I was home, Robert helped ice my ankle, then started cleaning. The apartment I lived in had been recommended by my online boyfriend, shortly after I took this job. Robert, still facing away from me with a broom in hand, began to chatter like a worried housewife. You're a girl living alone. You really need to be more mindful of safety and cleanliness. If you're too busy to clean, hire someone. I know a few reliable options. Or better yet, just call me. I'll swing by once a week and clean for you. I stared at my usually terse, stoic boss, now talking non-stop while sweeping the floor, and suddenly couldn't help laughing. What are you laughing at? Did you hear what I said? Yes, I heard you loud and clear. But I couldn't stop smiling. There was something about Robert that felt so familiar. And that feeling was growing stronger by the second. Boss. Yes? Can you tell me a story, Robert? He turned to me, brow slightly furrowed. I just think, you have a really nice voice. It's perfect for storytelling. You don't believe me. What, are you a don't believe man, too? I teased. The more I interacted with Robert, the more I realized, he wasn't what I thought at all. At work, we barely spoke. Everyone said he was cold, unpredictable, hard to approach. But the more time I spent with him, the more I felt like he might actually be kind of funny. You're a grown woman asking me to tell you a bedtime story, he said, sitting down beside me with a sigh. Still hurting? A little. Then don't go to the office for the next few days. Rest up at home. What? You're firing me from Team 2 already? Can you even commute with that ankle? Okay, no. It hurts just thinking about it. Seeing the defeated look on my face, Robert sighed again. Work from home for now. I'll send over your tasks tomorrow. Thanks, boss. Do you have any food in the fridge? He stood up and headed for the kitchen. Did you buy the lettuce I told you to get the other day? You need to stop being so picky. And you barely ate tonight. I'll make you a fruit salad. Just the lettuce you told me to buy the other day. The room fell completely silent. A few days ago, I'd told my online boyfriend that I had nothing in the fridge. He'd suggested I buy some lettuce, it goes with everything. Robert didn't respond. I could only hear the sound of the refrigerator door opening and closing. I might be slow sometimes, but I'm not stupid. I started thinking, he always messaged me, always kept me updated, always knew what I was doing, but today, he hadn't sent me anything. I picked up my phone and made a voice call. A second later, a familiar ringtone came from the kitchen. Then, he declined the call. A breakup warning? Then he sent me a pitiful emoji. I said, why does Robert know my apartment layout so well? Turns out, he was the one who recommended this place to me when I was looking to rent. I asked why he becomes so talkative whenever we're alone. I asked how he knows exactly what I like to eat, and what I don't. I asked why he would buy pink packaged milk tea that doesn't match his style at all. As expected, habits don't lie. And to think I actually felt a little guilty just now. I had a boyfriend and still let my boss take me home. Turns out, he planned it all. I shot him a message, my foot hurts. The next second, Robert appeared in front of me, still wearing my apron, visibly flustered. What happened? Does it still hurt a lot? Should we go to the hospital? Your ankle is swollen. Come here. Robert stepped closer and knelt in front of me. I looked into his eyes and saw my reflection in them. I opened my arms and hugged him tightly. You liar. You've been fooling me for so long. You've been right beside me this whole time, so why didn't you tell me? Do you have any idea? I would have traded 10 encouraging messages for just one word spoken from your lips. He gently wrapped his arms around me. I'm sorry. Please don't hate me, okay? You kept refusing to meet up, and I was afraid I'd scare you off. His voice grew quieter and quieter until it finally broke into a choked whisper. No way. Seriously? I got up and looked at the corners of his eyes. They were red. He was actually crying? I made my cold-faced boss cry. No, seriously, I never imagined that when we met in real life, he would be the one crying. Was I really that ugly? While I stood there flustered, Robert stood up by himself, still wearing my little floral apron. So, does that mean I can stay over tonight? Keep dreaming. Robert slowly lowered his head, fidgeting with the apron hem, and turned around pitifully. Ugh, fine, stay. You can stay. His eyes lit up instantly, and started working even harder. Over the next 2 hours, Robert made me a fruit salad, opened several snack packs, and turned on the TV for me. Then he cleaned the entire kitchen, mopped the floor, tidied the balcony, and even did all the laundry I'd piled up for days. OMG. People, I must have hit the jackpot. I found myself a Cinderella in reverse. After everything was spotless, he took a shower and came back smelling fresh and sweet. Does your foot still hurt, baby? Crap. I still wasn't used to hearing him call me baby in real life, especially when I remembered how he looked in the conference room, cold and commanding. It's all right. His eyes sparkled like a puppy's tail ready to wag, so I quickly changed the subject. By the way, why do you have 2 WeChat accounts? The one I was dating online isn't the same as your work account. Otherwise, I would have figured it out a long time ago. Not telling you. I turned toward him, our noses almost touched, and to my surprise, he blushed first. Seriously? I actually made this pure-hearted man fall for me? In a small voice, Robert said, if I tell you, you can't leave me, okay? I won't. How could I ever leave you? Whatever. Let's just appease him for now. Well, at first, it was my cousin who added you. He was the one chatting with you all enthusiastically. Right, I remembered now. When we first started chatting, he was super talkative, always going on about random things. Then one day, his tone suddenly changed. He stopped the small talk and focused entirely on helping me with rental stuff. After that, he vanished. But I'm a social animal online. I kept messaging him about other things, and he always replied seriously. So I forgot all about the switch. So it really wasn't him at first? Robert looked at me with a wronged expression. Later, I found out and took the account back. That's when I saw he had added you. I didn't want to lie to you, so I told you everything I knew about rentals. Then you kept messaging me, trying to make conversation, and you'd send me these adorable emojis. That's when I thought, wow, girls are really this cute? You know, in real life, all my interactions with women are strictly professional. I don't deny their capability or talent, but you were the first one who made me feel something alive. Even though it was just the internet, what I felt from you was more real than anything around me. That's when I realized, maybe this is what people call love. I stared at him as memories I had dismissed suddenly came rushing back. Later, when I realized the address you gave me was in a neighborhood near the office, I started taking walks there, hoping I'd bump into you. And then? I saw you. It was raining that day, do you remember? You were running through the rain with a dirty little kitten in your arms. Water poured down over you, and I saw a light. I smiled, nose tingling, but still wanted to tease him. Must have been short-circuited by the rain. Yes. And the lightning hit me right in the heart. He smiled and played along. From that day on, I kept watching you. Then, when I found out you were my online crush, you have no idea how happy I was. I kept wondering why I'd been so lucky during that time. When it rained and I forgot my umbrella, a coworker just happened to have an extra. When I was late to lunch, the cafeteria just brought out fresh food again. When my ex-coworker deliberately crashed my computer, I was panicking, but the next day, it magically fixed itself. Turns out, it wasn't that I had become lucky. It was that I had met someone who wanted me to be lucky. I worked from home for a month. Today's my first day back at the office. Robert stayed over at my place for more than 20 days this month. But worried my foot still hurt, he kept his hands to himself, just hugs and endless food. He was so scared I'd starve that the fridge was stuffed with things he brought. This morning, he offered to drive me to work, but I righteously refused. Even though I'd been home all month, they still assigned me the presentation. I was in charge of the data analysis section. It was a bit complex, and they were worried others wouldn't explain it clearly. This presentation involved 5 teams competing, and only the best one would be chosen. Our team lead had requested a delay to accommodate me, but I couldn't drag them down. So I got up early. When I arrived, the third team had just started presenting. The last round of layoffs had hit Team 3 hard, and the remaining members clearly held a grudge against me. As soon as I stepped into the meeting room, they shot me unfriendly glances. I ignored them entirely. Since I was late, the only empty seat left was beside Robert. The moment I sat down, he subtly reached over to touch my waist. I slapped his hand away. Workplace harassment? Even if you're my boyfriend, absolutely not. I glanced at him. His face was as expressionless as ever, but his eyes were brimming with grievance. I ignored him and turned my attention to the other team's report. But soon, I noticed something strange. Team 3's data analysis was identical to ours. Alarmed, I looked toward my own team. Everyone's expression had grown tense. Even Robert's face turned serious. After all, he'd watched me put that report together himself. Team 3's presenter wrapped up their presentation smugly, basking in praise from the other groups. They were still proudly waiting for Robert's compliments when he curled his lips into a cold smile and asked, "Did your team come up with this proposal on your own?" The presenter, completely unaware of the storm brewing, replied confidently, "Of course. We poured a lot of effort into it." Robert nodded. Team 2. Without batting an eye, I opened our team's presentation. As soon as I reached the data section, a former colleague from Team 3 shouted, "Wow, you haven't been to the office in a month, and now you're stealing data?" "Watch your mouth," Tam glared at him. The guy, seeing that Robert didn't intervene, got bolder. "Don't be mad, team lead Lynn. You saw it yourself, this is clearly our data. You didn't even bother to tweak it. Isn't that a little shameless? So tell us, who copied whom?" "This data was made by Jennifer herself," one of my teammates shot back angrily. "She's just a woman, how could she do this level of analysis? She probably got some guy to do it for her." "Oh, so that smell was familiar. I see that Weir's leftovers are still rotting in Team 3. Before he got fired, Supervisor Weir constantly looked down on the women in our group. Thought they were only good for being decorative. But everyone knew he had zero actual skill and only got promoted because of connections on the board. Anytime he came across a competent woman, he'd get defensive and start spreading nasty rumors. There's no need to be polite to people like that, or to the ones who think just like him. You. Enough." Robert's voice cut through the room like ice, silencing everyone instantly. His face was so serious that even a fool could tell he was furious. "Tam. Here. Have I been too hands-off with Team 2? Someone's bold enough to sell our internal data now? What's next, selling it to a competitor?" His tone was terrifyingly cold. Tam looked genuinely shaken. "I take full responsibility. I'll investigate immediately." "And you lot," Robert turned to Team 3's manager. "Want to guess why half your team was laid off last time?" "Boss. Jennifer clearly stole our data, so why?" "I watched her compile every number in that file." Robert looked up slowly. The entire meeting room went dead silent. Any objections? People were stunned, though no one dared to say a word. They all knew I had been working remotely for a month. So if Robert said he watched me work, that meant, Team 3's manager opened his mouth and stammered, "And no problem." The report was submitted by one of my team members. I didn't know either. Their habit of dodging accountability never changed. "You didn't review your team's submissions and now you're accusing someone else? Do you know, or don't you?" I smiled at him. "And while we're at it, what was that presentation even about? You just read the numbers aloud, one by one. Did no one tell you that the point of data analysis is the analysis, not reciting the data?" Honestly, ever since I'd been spending more time with Robert, I noticed I'd started to sound a little like him. Team 3's manager still wanted to argue, but Robert's aura was too overwhelming. In the end, he just shot me a vicious glare, before receiving a Weir-style farewell package. Right after the meeting, we identified the person who had sold the data from Team 2. Tam handed him a one-way plane ticket out of the company. Robert then used this scandal to conduct a full-scale internal overhaul, clearing out several useless higher-ups. Now the company's atmosphere felt fresh and clean, except for when Robert popped in to interrupt my slacking. Just after I'd finished my work and started messing around in Word, he caught me red-handed. When I turned around, Robert was staring at me coldly. As he led me away, my colleagues glanced at me with sympathetic eyes. But little did they know, the moment we stepped into his office, my boss started pouting. "What were you just looking at?" I'd finished my work, so I was just taking a short break. "I know. But why were you looking at other men?" I tried to recall. While scrolling through Word, I had accidentally opened a short video and happened to click into the homepage of a borderline male influencer. Well, it's been a while since I've seen anything spicy. Just a little taste, what's the harm? Guilt crept in, and I avoided his gaze. Is that so? Robert's voice suddenly dropped an octave. No wonder I hadn't recognized it earlier, his voice when he was sulking was completely different from when he spoke normally. I turned my head and met his crescent-eyed smile. Crap. I'd dug my own grave. You asked me why I added a separate room to the office, didn't you? I'll tell you why, today. Note to self, I should be shot for ever watching borderline content in front of Robert again. Later that evening during a meeting, my waist was aching like crazy. Yes, I've considered that aspect too, Robert said calmly on the surface as he discussed contract details with the other party. Meanwhile, his right hand was secretly massaging my lower back under the table. In the end, the negotiation went very smoothly. I heard the data analysis was done by Miss Cheen. The partner asked. Nice to meet you, I replied with a polite smile. You're truly an outstanding woman. I wonder if we might have the opportunity to collaborate again in the future. Thank you, I replied. We have many exceptional women in our company. I'm simply the average standard here. And as for future collaboration, the more, the merrier. We exchanged a few more pleasantries before he was silently chased away by Robert's glare. I was just about to stand up when Robert tugged on my arm. Caught off guard, I stumbled right into his chest. The more, the merrier? He echoed. What, are you jealous just because I pulled in another collaboration? I pinched his scowling face. Robert immediately switched to a pitiful expression. He kept looking at you. He shook your hand. He called you Miss Cheen. He complimented you. And you smiled at him. Seeing I wasn't saying anything, Robert leaned in for a kiss. But just before his lips touched mine, a loud cough echoed from the other side of the meeting room. Turns out an employee who'd been coordinating with the client still hadn't left. I froze. Dead. I was absolutely mortified. I thought the room was empty. The employee coughed awkwardly, then scurried off, tossing over his shoulder, I didn't hear anything. The next day, the entire company knew. The cold-faced CEO Robert was actually a lovesick chatterbox who adored clinging to his girlfriend and constantly got scolded by her. I was beyond embarrassed. Robert, on the other hand, was incredibly proud. He even bragged to Tam, you don't need to ask your girlfriend for stickers anymore, mine gave me a whole set of cat emojis. Tam grinned and teased me whenever he saw me, you'd better keep your love-struck CEO in check. If I'd known he'd be like this, I wouldn't have helped him chase you in the first place. I smiled and replied, what's wrong with being love-struck? A man in love is the best dowry there is. Looking back, I still can't believe I survived that meeting without fainting on the spot. But the way Robert looked at me, calm, possessive, and just a little amused. I knew I was in trouble. Big, sweet, lovesick trouble. And maybe? I kind of liked it.